we need to understand the customers.
Mm-hmm.
We really, really, in designing um, um, a contact center, in running our contact center, customer understanding is very key.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host Aish, and we're really glad to have you all join us today. On this show, we talk to CX and technology experts from around the world. We explore, uncover, and share fresh insights on creating experiences that your customers will remember and look forward to. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code digital CX platform, available across 14 channels with 45,000 solutions created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc. magazine, Tech World, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest. IJ is the Chief Customer Experience Officer at SV Gaming Limited. She's a strategic thinker and a customer experience and advanced contact center operations expert. With over 15 years of experience, she's worked with global brands in the telecommunications space and has delivered excellent results while providing leadership and direction to large teams with a goal of innovating. She helps brands with implementing a smarter approach to customer experience while consistently meeting and exceeding the ever-evolving needs of their customers. So welcome to the show, IG. We're so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me, Aish. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Well, before we dive into our interview, don't forget to subscribe to Engati and tap the bell icon to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders from around the globe. So let's start off this interview with our first question. When it comes to contact centers, what kind of metrics do we have to track? How can the unstructured data exchanged during the call provide actionable insights?
Okay, so when you talk about the contact center, one of the things I tell people, the information and the data that you find within the contact center, it's humongous. But our businesses tapping into this information to gain actionable insights that they can execute and ensure that it hits the bottom line for their businesses. In contact center, for me, so there are two types of metrics that you can measure within the contact center. So there's the efficiency metrics in terms of how you run your contact center, how efficient your contact center is, ensuring that you're not overstaffed and you're not understaffed. So things, metrics like service level, first contact resolution, occupancy that shows you, are your agents actually being utilized? Are they sitting down and also attending to the customers? So you don't overbloat your um the cost of operating your contact center, and you're ensuring that you're maximizing and optimizing your contact center. And then there's the quality metrics, which for me is key. And most businesses are not tapping into that. And that quality metrics, we're thinking about CSAT, first contact resolution, and stuff like that. For me, CSAT is actually very key in terms of what do customers think of your service, not just your service. When you even do surveys for CSAT, you find out that most customers just stop at the service they're getting from the contact center, but they're evaluating the business as a whole. They're evaluating, what they think about your product, your service, your platforms. So with that, you gain insight into what the expectations are, what they
Mhm.
expect from the business, what they think the business should be giving them and is not giving to them. So for me, I look at CSAT and I look at DSAT. What are the drivers of dissatisfaction? And it gives you an opportunity to put and be able to get insights that you can channel to the rest of the business to be able to look at, these are our customers' expectations. Are we meeting them? And to what extent are we meeting them? And for the truth is, you cannot, designing experience and designing the product is an outside-in approach. You
Mhm.
can't decide what is important to the customer. You need to understand what the customer thinks is important to them. And when you are able to understand that, it ensures that you know what your products are utilized by your customer, and they keep returning, and you build loyalty and that brand affinity. Do you understand? But when you don't go back to your customers, when you don't ask them to evaluate what they think, not just the service, the product, the platform, their touch points, you know, that in itself, it creates a gap between the customers and the business. And
Mhm.
so with the contact center, there's a whole lot of information that you can get, even during the conversation of a customer calling to complain. the certain words that the customer would use, certain sentiments that they would express that will give you insight into what they think of you as an organization. And a whole lot, like I said, a whole lot of information comes through the contact center, like the words that they use, and just being able to extract that and find out what exactly are our customers saying about us. I'll give you a typical example. In my previous organizations, one of the things that used to happen is we get the C level people to come into the contact center and just
Mhm.
listen to what the customers are saying. A lot of them, that's a mind-blowing experience for them, because this is not just about designing what we think. It's about actually getting first-hand experience, first-hand feedback on what these customers think about you. And so the biggest challenge with modern contact centers is the huge information that comes through.
Mhm.
How do you begin to process that for you to be able to extract insight? That's a major challenge for most organizations. And this is where technology comes in. Being able to harness all both the structured and unstructured data, and being able to determine a trend, to determine a trend, understand the behavior of individual customers and segments of customers, and then being able to use that those insights to execute and to change the way the business operates, or the kind of product or platform, or the way we design the experience for it's phenomenal. As I can say about the contact center, if you know how to extract that, I mean, like they say, information is king. If you have that insight, you're able to change a whole lot of things. That for me is key about what the contact center holds, for any business.
Mhm. In a way, it's kind of like the contact center is what bridges the business to their customers. It's what
Yes,
provides the insights, and data
exactly.
sort of facilitates the understanding of what they're saying.
Yes. Most of the time when I talk to the contact center um, executives, one of the things I say your center executives, but your role is way beyond that. You're real-time business analyst. It's almost like we have our hands on the pulse of the customer, and we
Mhm.
know what they're saying. We know how they feel. We feel their pain, and that information that these people get, it's extremely important that it's fed back into the business, so that the business will understand this is what the customers are saying. So we can pat ourselves on the back, but our customers patting us on the back? That's the big question. That's the big question, actually. Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely. So you mentioned CSAT just now being a very key metric when it comes to understanding when it comes to understanding your customers. So what other contact center metrics have become more important considering the shift into digital technologies?
First contact resolution, actually, it's very important. First
Right.
contact, because I had a discussion with a group of contact center professionals a couple of days ago, and one of the things that came really strong was the correlation between first contact resolution and CSAT. So a
Mhm.
customer feels that if I get in contact with an organization, then my issue should be resolved immediately. And so if I have to get in contact and I'm told, oh, we'll get back to you, or within 24 hours, you hear from us, or within 48 hours, in itself is a driver of dissatisfaction. We're able to put that, we're able to show the relationship between CSAT and FCR. However, one of the major challenge for organizations or for most contact center being able to do this is in terms of the internal processes that we have.
Mhm.
And this is where AI and technology comes into place. Because the truth is, the process to resolve certain issues are so long that it's not possible to resolve it on first call. So you have to pass it to another unit. But when we are able to get the technology right for the contact center, it makes it a whole lot easier, because the front line is empowered, within certain checks and balances to be able to, you know, resolve the customer issue. As in, I'm talking to this organization and I know that's it, my challenge is going to end today. Now, as I end the call, I move on to other things, not waiting for resolution of my challenge or complaint. Yeah. So CSAT is key. FCR is key. Where you have to look at things that are impacting the customer. And the truth is, for FCR also, it impacts the efficiency of the contact center, because now that you have to pass it to another level, or another level, of staff to resolve it. So it's almost it drags the process, and you also need more bums on seat to be able to resolve certain issues. So everything has an impact both in the efficiency of the contact center and also the impact it has on the customers and their satisfaction. Yes.
Right. So, do you have any predictions on how contact centers are going to operate in the future?
Remote. I think if there's something, the amazing part is there's something that COVID has taught everyone, last year is remote working is possible.
Okay.
It is possible. And it's not just about the contact center, it's the work as we know it has changed and evolved. 2020 showed us that. Because the truth is, yes, it's COVID today. Tomorrow it can be something else. So the truth is, it's important that most organizations and a lot of organizations would have thought it wasn't possible to run contact center remotely, especially in countries where they don't have advanced technological infrastructure. So that concern is there. Have had to have a work around it. So even if I can't support voice, I can support social media remotely. I can support email remotely. I can support other alternate channels, even real-time channels, WhatsApp and the rest of them remotely, chat channels remotely. So I think the future, how it's going to operate is remotely. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. But I do understand at the initial stage, of course, there's going to be a lot of cost implication because most organizations are going to have to migrate from on-premise contact center solutions to cloud solutions to give them that flexibility, and that agility to be able to make the changes that they want on the go. So that's where there's a cost implication to it. But it's clear that no organization can say it's on-premise that we're going to deal with. No. That ship sailed last year. So this year, a lot of organizations were caught. Unfortunately, a lot of organizations were caught by surprise. But now, I believe most organizations will start investing in remote working because that's the future, really.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, do you see any scope of things going back to normal after the pandemic?
Uh, I don't think so. So when you look at it, yeah, I really don't think so. When you look at it, so I'll give you a typical example from my side. Is remote working has given me a lot of flexibility in terms
Mhm.
of running a contact center that I did not think it was possible. Um, I live in Nigeria, I live in Lagos. Like every other metropolitan cities in the world, there's a bit of a security issue. Especially going home in the night. You can't tell someone log off by midnight and start going home. There's a risk factor
Yeah.
attached to it. However, with remote working, I have people working till 1 a.m. I can pull someone at the at the drop of a hat to say, um, our call volume is peaking. Can you just log on? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm at home, and then bam, they're in. I couldn't achieve that when they had to come to the office because
Mhm.
I'm about 1 hour away. I'm 1 hour away can mean getting to the office 2 hours later. But with remote working, it gives you a whole lot of flexibility. And the nightmare of scheduling and stuff has been taken away because there's a whole lot you can do. So
Mhm.
I think for me, remote working, I don't see anybody going back at that. So I know organizations would try to have a balance of the two. So some will have on-premise, support, and then some 50% on-premise or 30% on-premise, 70% remote work. Because the truth is, especially for the voice channels, some organizations will have challenges with, voice channels because of either where the contact center agents are leaving. Maybe the technological infrastructure is not so strong. Telecommunication infrastructure is not so strong there. So of
Mhm.
course you have those breaks during conversations, and which can be frustrating to the customer. So I see some of those voice channels going back to on premise, to support. But I see all the most of the alternate channel, it's working effortlessly for them. There's a whole lot of satisfaction with it,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I don't think that will change. But
Definitely. I did not, to be honest with you, I did not think about the implications of employee experience with remote work. I guess a lot of people are finding more satisfaction, more happiness with remote working.
yeah, but it's also to a certain extent. It has to be a blend of the two,
Right.
and kind of for each organization, what works for you. Because I've also realized that some people will say, I'm tired of just looking at myself every day. I just want to talk to someone like face to face, not over the screen. Do you understand? So it's a balance of the two. It can be 4 days remote and 1 day on, or just find a way to work around it. But I think every organization would talk and engage their team and understand what exactly would work for them. It's not one size fits all. Do you understand? But it's something that works for you. And like we said, the experience is an outside-in approach.
Mhm.
Designing an ideal experience, both employee and experience and customer experience, is an outside-in approach. You need to talk to the
Definitely.
people that you're designing the experience for to know what they want and what works for them. And at the end of the day, when it's to ensure that everybody is satisfied and happy. That's key.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's key.
Mhm. So, do you have any other sound bites you'd like to leave with our audience?
Um, so for me, it's just like I just said, is we need to understand the customers.
Mhm.
We really, really in designing um, um, a contact center, in running our contact center, customer understanding is very key. And fortunately, unfortunately, customer understanding is forever evolving, forever changing. And so you need to always, and that is where data is very, very key. How we process the data that we have and the kind of insights that we get from that data will determine a lot of the changes that we want to see. Because customer, if you understand your customers, you understand how they think, you understand what they want, it helps you in designing, both the experience, do you understand, that will resonate with them. And at the same time, also ensuring that both the customer experience and employee experience. Do you understand? It's very key because I'm talking to some of my, some of the contact center agents have been opportune to work with over the years. There's this human thing when you attend to your customers and you meet and surpass their expectations.
Mhm.
Do you understand? It's more proactive. Before they talk, you know what they want,
Mhm.
and you are able to connect with them at both their emotional level. They end the call and they're happy. Do you understand? For the employee, you find out the employee happiness, it's tied to the customer that they're attending to. When
Mhm.
their customers are sad, you will know because
That-
they're also frustrated. I could have done more. I wish I can do more, but I can't. So for me, is this is a year of, I know, not to sound cliche, but this is a year where we need data, big data. It's not just sitting there nicely and we're like, oh, we have this. No, what are we doing with the data that we have?
Mhm.
We cannot discard that. What are we doing with the data? That is going to be what will determine whether our customers are satisfied and remain with the business or whether our customers just take a walk.
Mhm.
That's just it.
Well,
That's just it.
thank you for sharing that with us, IJ, and thank you for giving us your time. Your insights were really valuable, and I know our audience is going to enjoy this interview. We'll be
Thank
back with
you.
we'll be back with a new episode with a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one.
Thank you.